Today we're going to be filming episode 1 of the interviews slash podcast. We'll be interviewing someone in the Vintage community. He goes by Vast.Vtg, aka Sam. He's a really cool dude. And yeah, let's get into it.
What's
This good
up?
was good. Chilling, chilling. Took me a little bit to get this all, sorted and
Yeah.
stuff. Do I
Yeah.
sound good? All
Yeah, you sound good. Do I?
right, cool. Yeah. Bro, the
Okay.
heart-shaped box sitting in the back is crazy.
Yeah, I had to put it up for
Hell
the
yeah. All right, bet let's do it, bro. This is literally number one. Like first time you doing this. So we're just gonna go with the flow. I got like a few things written down and shit. But I mean, if you wanna just let whoever's gonna watch this know like who you are, what you do, stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. So my name's Sam, also known as Vast Vintage on Instagram. I've been selling for since early 2020, so two,
Coming up
two,
on three
three
years.
years. Um, but just recently started taking it more serious, just this year. But I don't know, it's just something to do, pretty much. It helped me, it helped me a lot. I don't really know what else to say about it.
Yeah. You were more of a collector at first.
Yeah, I mostly I started doing vinyl. Mostly I was selling vinyl,
Word.
selling, collecting vinyl CDs and stuff, and then I kind
Hmm.
of just pretty much like how most people started during the pandemic selling, and so I kind of was on TikTok and I was like, oh, this is cool. I have
Yeah,
no
really
shame saying,
TikTok really boomed it.
yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, they're just, pandemic sellers or quarantine sellers, but that's just how it is. I mean, I'm not ashamed, because some people are like, oh,
Yeah.
they're just,
I mean, I'm be
they're,
honest, I was the same way. I started with shoes and then
yeah,
I just drifted over to vintage just
yeah,
because
because
my job
yeah,
shut down.
yeah, because you starting with vinyl kind of got me into selling online and getting like a online reputation. I think
Word.
that helped a lot.
Oh
Because
yeah.
without it, I feel like I wouldn't have done so well. But I kind of just connected the music and stuff with the
Yeah, it gave you
clothing.
like knowledge, I would assume, because like in a way you're tapping into that like that older like generation of like music and shit. And it kind
Yeah,
of
because
directly
I grew up
impacts
listening. I grew up listening to the music,
word.
from the '60s, '70s, '80s, '90s. I grew up listening to that. But but yeah, that's kind of what got me into doing band tees and stuff. Is because my parents always, they went to concerts when they were my age, but they never afforded the concert T-shirts. They could
Yeah.
barely get tickets. So what I like to do is I like to get the concert shirts from the tours that they went to when they were my
That's actually
age.
sick. I've never heard anybody say that. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest. I've never heard anybody say that. That's dope. So you have shirts that like your parents went to the concerts, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my parents saw Rolling Stones in 1981, so I have a few 81 Stones tees. There's one
Solid.
right there. But
Heck yeah. That's
but
fire, bro.
yeah,
You have some straight heat back there.
thank you. I appreciate
Wow.
it.
That's nuts. Bet. So, um, what would you say in the 3 years? Like, what are your like best memories? I already know one. I already know one of
Yeah.
like your best moments, best memories, selling vintage and shit. But like what's we can get into that, but what's some of like the memories you got?
I mean, I do a lot of abandoned house picking and stuff, private property. I always get permission and stuff. I always do that. So I'm always finding the craziest stuff in old houses and old properties.
Hmm.
Um, like this one time I found, well, I was digging through this house, probably built in like the 40s,
Yeah.
um, pretty relatively close to me too. And I was digging through and I was on Instagram Live and I had it set up on the side of on the wall, filming me digging through.
Hmm.
Um, and I went over to this corner and I saw something jump and I thought it was like a raccoon or something, but it was a cat and it took off and it ran and it jumped out the window and it
And this is
freaked me
bando
out.
hunting.
Yeah, yeah. I was in an
Jesus.
abandoned house and the cat ran and jumped out the window and I have the whole thing on Instagram Live. So but I was so scared. It
The the
terrified me. Like
the bando
I
stuff is so sketch.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Like I can never get into it.
And I mean, that's also another thing. When I was younger, like in middle school, I would always go to like abandoned stuff.
Mhm.
I've been to abandoned car dealerships. There was an abandoned school, abandoned motels and stuff. It was like urban exploration, if that's what you
That's
want to
pretty cool. I
call
bet
it.
you could find some cool shit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's mostly tools and mostly like rusty, scrap metal and stuff. But
Yeah. Word.
school
Okay, now
photography,
let's get into the craziest moment of your vintage career.
craziest moment. Well,
Yeah,
that same house with the cat in, I found the Levi's Type 2 second edition
that's
jacket.
nuts.
That was probably my biggest like that was like my first one that was like,
That true
whoa.
vintage shit is crazy. I thought you were gonna say your craziest like moment selling vintage stuff is getting the heart shaped box.
Yeah, I mean, well, probably memorable, probably the Type 2 because I was with my girlfriend. I took her out. She wanted
Yeah.
to go to abandoned houses and stuff. I was like, yeah, I have this one mapped out. We can go and check it out. But yeah, the heart-shaped box, that was just recently. If you want to know the story about it, I can't tell you the story about it.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to give just like a brief, I feel like I think I'm gonna clip it and like, post it on like IG and stuff.
Yeah. So basically, my dad has a friend. I'm not gonna say his name, but
No,
my dad
yeah,
has a
no.
friend. My dad has a friend that he works with, and he has a friend that they lived together for a long time.
Hmm.
They're kind of like brothers, because they were so close. He was like an uncle to his kids and stuff. But the friend of him that lived with him, he was a huge Nirvana fan, and a few years ago he passed away. He committed suicide. So,
Oh,
but
damn.
he was close with my dad. But he after he passed away pretty recently, he came, or the one that's still alive. He came over, and we were just hanging out with my dad and just talking about him, and talking about the memories we had with him and stuff. And
Hmm.
I was wearing a Kurt Cobain shirt at the time, and he was like, "Oh, I still have all of his old Nirvana stuff." I was like, "Oh, really? That's cool. I'd love to check it out and look at it." Not thinking he was gonna let go of any of it because they were such,
Yeah,
they
it's
were,
sentimental.
yeah. But he said, "Yeah, I mean, we can go over there right now if you want." So I was like, "Sure, we can go right now." So I just followed him back to his house. He showed me around his house, and I know his kids and his wife and
Hmm.
stuff. So I just said hi to them. Then we went to his garage, and he said, "Oh, here's the bag." He was like, "Honey, where's the Nirvana bag?" And she was like, "It's in the garage." So we went to the garage, and he just pulled out the bag from the shelf. It was like a see-through bag, like at festivals, like the clear
Hmm.
plastic bags that
Yeah,
people
yeah,
have.
yeah.
He flipped it upside down, and through the plastic, I could just see like the center part of the heart-shaped box
That's
through the
crazy.
bag.
I know your
Um,
heart fell all the
yeah,
way down.
I was just like, I didn't believe it at first. I didn't like. I was just like, no, like I
Yeah,
didn't, because
that's insane.
on my way there, shout out my friend, the old gold vintage on Instagram. We were messaging, and he said, "Just imagine you find a heart-shaped box." I'm like, I can't get my hopes up about
Yeah,
that.
nah. You get your hopes up like with OG owner halls and like going certain places, bro.
Yeah,
Most of the time you're let down.
because he was relatively not. I wouldn't say, he was probably in his 30s when he
Hmm.
passed away. So I didn't think that he would be the 30 to 40 probably, but I didn't think that he would have any older stuff. I would think it was just 2000s or modern or
Yeah.
whatever. I just assumed that. But my that was my first Nirvana shirt. I've had Kirk tees, I've had, you know, stuff related to that.
Yeah.
But my first Nirvana shirt is like the holy grail. So that was
Yeah.
like
Dude, it's
pretty crazy.
arguably the most like hyped, like sought after tea like of all
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when
I think,
people think like
so.
vintage grails, they think like a Hershey box. So it's like
Yeah.
insane that you have it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not gonna sell it. I'm just
Oh no, I
gonna,
don't blame you.
yeah, I'm just gonna, because I just feel like it'd be wrong to sell it. Um,
Yeah.
I got this one, and then I got another one from the 90s, 97, and then
Hmm.
the rest of them were 2000s prints. So I ended up giving the 2000s prints to my friends,
Hmm.
my local friends. They that all, are huge Nirvana fans, just to, because why not,
Yeah,
they've always been asking me for Nirvana tea, so I just gave those out to my friends, and I'm just keeping the two '90s ones.
that's so sick. That's a great story, bro. Like to I don't know, just like I've noticed like the history behind like a lot of people's like their band tees, their sports gear, like stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
they're like really connected to it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I've met a bunch of people where like, and I bet a lot of people watching this that like are in the vintage scene have met a bunch of people that like are like, yeah, I got a bunch of shirts from the 90s. I got, all this, that, and the other, and they don't want to sell it. Because it's like they're like
Mhm.
connected. They were there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
it's dope as hell that you ended up like, what I'm saying, like acquiring that and like
Yeah.
being able to like have it like and just look
Yeah.
at it and admire it, It's
Yeah.
so
And
sick.
I can't get mad at the people that say, oh, I don't want to let go of, people that have their
Yeah.
original ones, because I do the same thing. But
Mm-hmm.
so I don't blame them. But
Yeah.
I always offer them, like a pretty solid number to what they have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I've offered, retail prices to to some people because I wanted the shirt so bad, but they just said they'd rather have the shirt and the memories with it than the
Yeah.
money. And that's totally understandable.
Word. Yeah. Have you yet to come up on any OG owner anything, or
Yeah.
even just
Well,
acquire anything from anybody, It's always just been buying off of a reseller.
yeah. Well,
Um,
I have a possible OG owner haul coming soon, from my coworker.
uh-oh.
So, and it sounds pretty crazy.
Uh-oh.
90s
Another heart-shaped
grunge.
box. Imagine.
90s grunge. I asked her. I said, "Do you have any Nirvana?" She said no. She
That'd be
said
nuts.
she never had the opportunity, or the gift, to
Yeah.
see Nirvana live. So
Man, there's a bunch of like artists that I like wish I would have seen before past like X, like artists like that have passed away.
yeah.
Um, but word, okay. So next, like where do you see the future of the vintage game, of your brand, your business, all that? Like where do you see the future of like all of this?
Well, like overall, I think older pieces, true vintage, if you that's what you want to call
Mm-hmm.
it, from '60s, '50s, and older. I think that's probably going to be coming like heavily back into the vintage community.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like because people are just pulling crazy stuff from bins or from abandoned houses lately. All the
Mm-hmm.
first edition, second edition jackets, and some crazy, Lee stuff, bucklebacks, all the old denim stuff is just. I feel like that's just like gonna completely trump everything in the future.
Yeah.
Um, but for me, I feel like I'm pretty good sticking with what I'm doing right now with band tees. I have some older stuff, but just right now, I'm just looking to clear out my inventory just to, bring new stuff in for
Mm-hmm.
people. Just for now. But I don't know. I don't think I see myself doing this as like a full-time thing. I'm only 17 years old.
Yeah.
So I really don't I don't see it as like a
It's more
as
like
a
a passion thing, passion driven thing.
yeah, mostly yeah.
Respect. Yeah. I feel like me, it started like that too. It was like passion. And then
Mhm,
it just slowly like trickled into like me buying stuff just to wear. And
mhm,
then I was like, wow, like a lot of people are complimenting my shirts. They're complimenting this. Is like, and then all my
yeah,
friends wanted to buy my shirts that I wasn't wearing. And I was like, okay, maybe I should start, like
mhm,
selling and shit. And then that's literally how like stuff happened for me.
yeah.
Solid. So like when you picture yourself in 5 years, you just picture yourself a collector mainly.
I feel like in 5 years I'll definitely still have a lot of my personals.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like I said with the original owners, they'd much rather keep the shirt than have the money.
Mm-hmm.
And who's to say prices go up or down? It's always changing, especially for higher end stuff like the heart shape box.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know, because I'm starting college. I want to be more mature, if
Yeah.
that's what you want to call it, and not say that I wouldn't say that selling vintage is like a childish thing, but I don't want to be seen as like, the 40-year-old or whatever
Mm-hmm.
that's like, I don't, the guys that go to the flea markets and
Yeah, no,
they're
I don't know.
scraping,
I feel that.
I want to be steady. but
Hmm.
also have some good things that I can look at and be reminded of
Yeah. And
my.
also like you gotta pat yourself on the back. You're 17. You know what I'm saying? You're a bigger name in the community. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta pat yourself on the back. You're running like a pretty successful business, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm just always comparing myself to other sellers. I'm not posting enough good
yeah.
stuff, or I'm not selling enough stuff. But when I look over it as a bigger picture, I'm like, I'm only 17 years old, so
Hmm.
what I
Literally,
do now
yeah.
doesn't really, it doesn't really matter if I sell this shirt for under what it goes for, just to get it out. It doesn't really,
Hmm.
in the long run, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't, yeah. I've noticed doing this because like a lot of people have hopped on to like, selling vintage and stuff, that like comparison is like a killer. Like if you can, and I feel like that's in any industry because I used to play sports and I used to compare myself in sports and it used to like ruin my head. But like
Mm,
in like business is a little different because it's like I do this full time. So like if I steady compared myself to like people, it would like stunt your growth, you know? So like I just be
yeah,
telling people, I'm like, yo, just do what you want. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm doing this podcast. I was like, dude, like no one's really doing this. Like, and I kind of just want to interview everybody. Like, just see what they
yeah,
got to say about stuff. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, like just I feel like just not staying in your own lane, but like just creating your own lane and like just doing stuff how you want to do it, I feel like will always set you apart, from like people and stuff
yeah,
like that.
definitely.
It's
Yeah, I
solid though.
feel like that's important too. Um, but I don't know. It's hard to see what I'll be like in 5 years, like you said, because
Yeah.
people are, there's lots and lots of people that are younger than me and that are older than me that are
Hmm.
also selling. So I have to factor in, but I feel like it really doesn't matter by how old you are, how young you are. It's
Nah.
just the knowledge that you have. Um,
Knowledge, the
but
hustle, the
but
eye.
I'm trying not to compare myself to others anymore because I feel like that kind of puts like a stress
I
on me
do. Yeah,
constantly.
for sure. Hell yeah. Is
But
there anything else? Sorry, what were you gonna say?
it also pushes me though, but to do better and
Yeah,
to find more stuff and to you know keep keep going at my business. But
word up. Is there anything else you want anybody watching to know?
um, s- sell me Smashing Pumpkins t-shirts. I'm always trying to buy those. So
Bet.
that's my favorite band. So if you have one and you don't want it, let me know.
Hell yeah. All right, bet. So let the people know where to reach you and what you got coming in the future, any plans you plan to do or anything like that.
I'll probably be doing some vintage markets here in Central Florida pretty soon. I don't know when the next one is, probably in the next few months or so. But
Yeah.
Vast.Vtg on Instagram. That's my Instagram, and my Depop is the same, just with an underscore. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hell yeah.
That's
Thank you for
Instagram.
being the first guest on I don't even know, it's just the podcast, I guess. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It just kind of it's like interviews, but
Hmm.
yeah, bro, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to interview you. And yeah, we'll keep in contact. I'll see you later,
Yeah.
bro.
All right. I'll see you later. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, y'all. So we just wrapped up the interview with Sam, aka Fast Vintage. It was a cool little 20 minutes. Episode one was a success in my book. If you guys want to see the full video, call me Knt on YouTube and also see clips of the video. Knt curated on Instagram. If you guys want to be in the second episode, just let me know. It's been Chris. See y'all.